Monday, January 21st, 2013, and I'm out in a very snowy Buckinghamshire, having to do one of the free walks today as it's relatively close to London. Unable to do the book one walk I wanted to do down in Borough Green due to transport problems as a result of the snow. However, doesn't seem to affect Chiltern Railways, so I've found a free walk that I haven't done. That's 81, which is around 10 miles between Chorleywood and Chesham. It's doesn't feel that cold at the minute, but we had a load of snow yesterday which prevented me getting out at all, so hence walking today back on the old Mondays. Anyway, it's 11:45, got about 4.5 hours walking to do, so let's get cracking. We reached Chorleywood Common, point 4 of the text. Clearly it's not easy, or it's impossible to see any faint footpaths on the ground, so could be tricky from that aspect today. What a lovely winter view this is, eh? Okay, there's the houses on the left, so looks like there's a pond or something down below there, so heading straight on between the two, hoping that's my onward journey. There's the iced over pond. I would add that today I'm trialling my Yaktrax underfoot, highly recommended in this kind of weather. They make the snow and ice almost a non-entity. Fantastic purchase. I've had them 2 years, but this is the first time I've had to trial them. Point 7 of the text refers to 2 rides through the woodland here. We're taking the one next to the bench with the white property at the very end there. Of course, walking on snow hides lots of hidden risks underfoot, one of them being these pools of water. It's incredibly still today. Official wind speed's about 4 knots, but I'm not seeing any movement at all. Plenty of winter bird song as well. Mainly tits at the moment, but I'm sure we'll hear lots of other stuff en route. I know a lot of the schools have been closed today, but thus far, thankfully, I haven't seen any hordes of kids. Always a delight walking on weekdays. Nice and peaceful. Okay, just reached the white building and the noisy road, and onward journey straight ahead. I've just realised a mistake I made. I should know this. Chorleywood's in Hertfordshire. Terrible error. So as you can see, now following the Chess Valley walk. Information board here next to the tennis courts, referred to in point 10, I think it is, of the text, telling us about Chorleywood House estate. Google that if you wish to know more. Of the text, turning right here to follow the footpath marker for the Chess Valley walk. Well, it's just called River Chess actually. Listening to these various birds around me reminds me next weekend is the RSPB's Garden Birdwatch survey, whereupon they request that you give an hour of your time and record the species in your garden. I notice on their list of possibilities they do not include our good friend the bullfinch, which, as I continue to say, worries me. Okay, got two options here. You don't take the one by the poop scoop bin, but veer left to follow this avenue of pink chestnuts apparently. That artful crow's found a drinking hole there. Stands out well against the white of the snow. Very nice Christmas card scene there on my right as we approach point 12 of the text. And I can just start to hear the hum of the M25, and it does look like there's some snow starting to fall, which might make this walk interesting. Certainly prevent me filming if it gets too heavy. With the text, bear left there through that hole in the hedge, and just as I said it was starting to snow, the sun's trying to poke out as well, which adds a nice element to the scenery. And as you walk through the gap in the hedge, this is the scene that awaits you. Hits you like an oil painting in a way. Especially on a day like today with all this white reflection going on. Couldn't get a much whiter day really. Both the land and the sky. Lovely. Having said that, there's the M25, spoiling the vista. And on my left, some kids on their sledges. Great day, eh, for them? Well, for all of us. Unless you're a commuter. Absolute nightmare this morning in London. About to pass through the rusty gate mentioned in the text to enter the Chess Valley, and I can hear an interesting song there. That one I don't recognise. I guess it's a member of the tit family. You've got a couple of options here, having passed through the rusty gate. There's the first immediate left, or the sort of official one marked over there. So as soon as you need to cross the River Chess at some point yonder, I'll take the official route, I think. They're just about to cross a wooden bridge, and it looks like it would be better to stick on the footpath closest to the rusty gate mentioned a few minutes ago. Christ, they've even got parakeets out here. Noisy critters. Survive anything, don't they? Because the path I took, albeit official, crosses a bit of rough ground there, where it certainly was today. The wooden footbridge Sarratt Parish Council. And some lovely views of the Chess from said footbridge. What delightful views. Would probably just be a bland arable field if I'd come on a non-snowy day, but with the snow lying on top makes a whole heap of difference for some reason. There's the reason the parakeets do so well out here. Tree holes. Competing with woodpeckers for those now, I guess, and owls. So, there you have it. Scene of the text, you've got a couple of options here. Straight ahead there where those cyclists are, for the shortcut to Chenies and an early lunch, or for the main walk, turn right here, which is what I'll be doing. All referred to in the text is now a gate. 19 of the text refers to a lovely scenic vista looking backwards, and that's certainly what you get. Delightful, huh? And those kids over there still having a good time on their sledges. Into of the text, having come through this kissing gate, across this lane, private drive actually, part of the Goldingtons estate, continue on straight ahead through these hedges. Point 21 of the text, reaching this delightful little church, yet another variation on a theme. Incredible variety of churches we have, as I continue to say. This one being the Holy Cross Church, Sarratt. Just for the record, it's 1 o'clock. I did start late today, and the Cock Inn is over there opposite this church for those that need an alternative lunch stop early in the walk. There are a couple of seats here in this church as well, but I'm going to press on to Chenies. Where the recommended lunchtime facilities are. Style. Continue straight on down this avenue of trees. Point 24 of the text. Views therefrom. Views up the lane from point 26 of the text, next to Cakebread Cottage. Rather quaint name. Indications are at the moment that it's starting to thaw. Certainly not icy underfoot at the moment. Okay, turning right here at Sarratt Bottom. A section of the walk that can be flooded after periods of heavy rain apparently. Give a text, turning left here into this private road up to Valley Farm. Excuse my slip in there. Wasn't the Yaktrax failing, it was the snow giving way. Cottages just behind me. Incredible. Not sure if you can make that out, but that's a white egret. Way out of area, I guess. But it's quite marshy around here. Little egret. Relatively recent newcomer to our shores. In fact, there's a few of them flying around. What a lovely shot that is. Another place, another time. And that is in fact the noise of the egrets in the background. There's a pair of them. There you go. And then just after they've gone, their big cousin, the grey heron, turns up. So clearly it's appropriate habitat for both. What a great shot that is. Right at the very limits of my camera range. Just far enough for me to get him. Or her. Incredible. And there's the old boy from another angle. Delightful. Puffed up against the cold. Okay, so we have watercress beds here. Now I wonder if this is where Countryfile was filmed last week. They didn't disclose a location, but it was on a watercress bed very similar to this one. And there was a great shot of a green sandpiper, which frequents watercress beds in the winter, by all accounts. Comes across as a black bird, but in fact is green. A fair number of birds in there, but unable to identify them at the moment. What's that one over there? Hang on. Lost it. No, I can't zoom in. Certainly a lapwing type bird there. Yeah, the lapwings, as you can tell by the song. Peewits. There he is. What a great little walk this is. So close to London. Interesting, because the last time I was out in this neck of the woods was when I did the St Albans Garston walk. Snowed then as well. I think that's 2 years ago now. Closer shot of the lapwing. Yep. There's a familiar peewit sound. Fantastic. What a lovely little place. Yeah, I think they deserve a bit of free advertising. Crest Watercress, Tyler and Sons. Horses appropriately decked out. Steady mate, that's electric. Not much grass available today, is there? Information board here about the Chess Valley Walk and the Watercress beds. Mention there of water rail, which we may or may not have just seen. I couldn't tell. Onward journeys across the river over there, not through that metal barrier over there, with the farmhouse further up on the right. So crossing over the very clean waters of the Chess reminds me of the Test in Hampshire. Similar kind of environment. Lunch is served, at least for the horse, and for me pretty soon. In 32 of the text, I don't think you can really miss this footpath up the steps and into the field. Fairly clear. It's definitely thawing underfoot, as you can see. That's a nice gesture. Thanks for the gate, Cecil. Point 34 of the text. Enjoying the view back towards Sarah at bottom. Yeah, I've got some company here. Yeah, alright. Yeah, not scared, are they? Further fine views from what is now a kissing gate at point 36 in the text. And I've just spoken to a local, and that Watercress farm was not where Bradbury was last week. We are officially in Bucks as I film this, but pretty much on the border. So she was saying. So as you can see, thankfully, a lot of the stiles have now been replaced by gates dedicated by private individuals. Great idea. We continue on up on the right side of this field now. Point 37 of the text, approaching the village of Chenies. Okay, here we have it, the opening hours for the Red Lion, which I've now reached. It's an autarkic free house, just for the record. Alternative pub, the Bedford Arms, 200 metres further on. So here we are, Chenies. and its village green. Now it's 2 o'clock. Let's go and find that church. Plenty of alternatives here, like that bus shelter if the church isn't open. Lunch calls. I think the church is up there. So here we are, the church at Chenies, which is just before the manor, which is the continuation of our journey. Just catch the time there. 2:15 now. So a late lunch today. Got about 2 3/4 hours of daylight left, so should be okay. The Church of St Michael's in Chenies, and there is a storm porch, and the church is open between 9:30 to 5 daily. Anyway, let's get some soup inside us. Information there about the church. Been put worshipping here for 700 years plus. Clearly I won't be able to go in. Could of course wear my overshoes, but that would mean taking off my Yaktrax, so don't think I'll bother. 2:45 and we're back on the route. Information here about Chenies Manor House, which is a member of the Historic Houses Association there. Onward journey's right between those walls. The views from point 43 of the text as the temperature starts to drop again, as you'd imagine, coming up 3 p.m. Onward journey ahead there towards the horses. Appropriate winter coat on. Some further wintry views just before we enter the wood. Point 46 of the text, walking between electric fences down to Latimer Road, which you can now hear in the background. Views of Latimer House up on the hill there. Back from point 50 in the text. River Chess down there on my right. Latimer House, with an information board in front of it about the Chess Valley Walk. And views down into the valley below. Further glorious views of the valley. According to the text, that used to be the site of a Roman villa down there, where the current farmhouse is, or residence is. Some interesting traces of blood on the snow at the moment. Probably a dogging season, but you never can tell. Soon find out. Could be an injured beastie somewhere. Further fine views across the valley as the evening draws in a bit now. great shapes here as the snow has tried to fill the furrows. It's incredibly quiet and still now, although for a Monday I've seen a fair few walkers about. Views from point 53 of the text, just before I turn off into the wood. Just here on the right. Passing the farmyard with the cows safely in the shed. Onward journeys straight ahead. About 4 o'clock now. 57 of the text. Turning up the gravel drive, although difficult to tell that today. Leading up to Blackwell Lodge. Okay, I thought they were all in their sheds. Clearly not. My good friends. I hope one of those isn't a bull. Okay, we're leaving the Chess Valley walk here, going for 600 metres up this bridleway. Towards White End. Of the text, the view back towards the Chess Valley from my ascent towards White End. Lovely. And my onward journey. The way that snow's just hanging there on the holly. So, although it's not actually freezing, I don't think, it's not melting too much in here either. Maybe it's because it's evening now and things are cooling down. Wonderful. 61 of the text. Some well weathered signs there. Our onward journey's that way, towards Ladies Wood. Not down there, to White End, which is appropriately named today, I think. Yeah. Point 62, turning left to Bottom Lane. Views back across the fields from this point. This section of footpath is very rutted. Not enough snow on it for my Yaktrax. 64 of the text. Take this right to Bottom Lane to Botley path. Point 66 of the text. Enjoying the fine views back. Dusk well on its way now. 4:30. Fantastic. Very still and quiet now as we approach Hill Farm. And views from point 69 in the text. Just about make them out now. And further views from point 69 of the text as we approach the fringes of Chesham. .76 of the text. It's a rather nice old tractor there in the twilight. Crossing over that stile and heading straight on. Point 79 of the text. Stood next to the tree mentioned therein, and these are the views of Chesham ahead. Quite interesting in the twilight, the way the lights stick out. A welcoming sight for a traveller in the advent of the evening. I'm just about going to make it before nightfall, I think. 81 of the text, turning left down the tarmac lane, and we're finally back in civilization. So here we are back at Chesham, 5 o'clock, 26-minute wait for the next tube back to Aldgate, which is great. Aldgate's where I need to get to. That was a delightful little walk, all 10 miles of it. Took me a bit longer than I anticipated, but probably the snow underfoot and me having to keep adjusting my Yaktrax. One downside to them, I suppose. They do perform a very good job, but as I say, I have to keep adjusting them, so I might have to get the Pro as opposed to the Walker. Anyway, free walk 81 completed. Great day's walking. And just as an added bonus for my journey home, we've got one of these nice new tubes. Nice and warm.